can I just let you know that you're live on Facebook?
Okay.
And we're here because you're being online grooming kids online?
No.
Yeah, we've got it all here.
Ask if you know this young female here.
Sophie, yeah.
Have you been speaking to her? 14 years of age.
Uh-huh.
You've been sending her explicit images and sexual text messages. We've got you on chats here. That's your profile there. Your profile there.
Right, okay.
Then on WhatsApp, we moved her over to WhatsApp here.
Uh-huh.
And then you've been going on pretty much speaking about telling her like a bloke's willy goes in from Flirty, sending sort of explicit messages.
Right.
Then it goes on a lot more here.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much you've been explicit the whole way through.
Right.
Your text messages towards her, pretty much dropping wee hints that you're sitting alone, watching films, things like that. You went on to send pictures of selling boxers.
We got the evidence, I can't deny it. So.
Is that the only kid that you've been speaking to?
It's not grooming.
So you've not been speaking to any other, it's not grooming, you're teaching her how to masturbate herself and that's not grooming?
And you've sent pictures of yourself, we've also got videos that you've been sending yourself.
Have you been speaking to any other kids?
There's not recently, there was one other, but I've not spoken to her in over a week.
So that's recent, over a week, just as recent. So it's only been one other kid that you've been speaking to? Right, well we've got you on a couple of other ones.
Does any of these people ring bells?
I know them, yeah, but they keep going and disappearing. I don't...
Because we've got you obviously speaking.
That one I haven't spoken to. That's the one I was on about that I haven't spoken to in quite some time.
Yeah, what makes it think though it's acceptable to speak to obviously kids in the way you have, sending pictures like you sent, sending the videos that you sent, because let's face it, one of the videos you sent was very explicit. The one when you were in the bathroom. I'm going to just watch because I say we're on.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
What makes it sort of okay for you to think?
Well, it's not really
It's not really what?
acceptable.
No, it's not.
I don't. It's difficult. It's not grooming that I intend. I must admit, it's partly boredom and.
So it's partly boredom, so you've got a wife and 2 kids, but you find yourself bored, so you go in and groom kids. That is what it is grooming kids. Speaking to anyone underage and speaking sexual to them is grooming.
Right, okay.
How would you like somebody to do that to one of your daughters?
Well, I wouldn't.
Would you like them, it's the conversations that you've had there, would you like somebody to have that with your daughters? No.
Because your conversation is pretty explicit from the off, let's face it.
Right, okay.
Right, now the police is being called now, so the police will be called and they'll be coming to arrest you for online grooming.
Okay, I understand.
I mean, could you imagine if that was your daughter or your son getting things like that? Do you know any of your kids getting pictures like that? How would you feel if you opened up their tablets or phones or devices?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd be very disgusted, to be fair. I mean, the irony is quite sad in that last year my eldest was sexually assaulted at the Galleon by a kid slightly older than her, so yeah.
Well, you should know then that how that feels, and then you're away doing it to another kid. You're doing that to another, what age is she?
We've got you on, speaking to a 14-year-old, got you on a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, as it stands.
12,
13 and 14, that's a pre-teen.
Yeah, 12-year-old, 13-year-old and 14-year-old.
They're under 16.
That's the main thing, they're under the age 16.
Right.
I mean, you've admitted it's happened personally to your daughter. Do you know, how did that make you feel? But then the fact is that you're doing it
to somebody else's daughter.
Yeah. Problem is, I've been diagnosed with emotional intensity disorder, and my emotions are quite switched off. And even now, after all the issues with my daughter, I still don't feel any anger or any even sympathy towards her. I've really struggled this last year to deal with that aspect of it, and that has partly made me blind to this. I mean, yeah, it's lonely at home, people to talk to, that's great.
But how do you not speak to people your own age then?
I do, some of them, and then, I don't know, they just...
I mean, the minute these guys are popping up telling you they're 12, 13, 14, whatever, you should be blocking them, reporting them.
Mm-hmm. I think that Leah was the first one. I think I did report her when she first came up, and then it came back, and it was like, I just wanted someone to chat to. Okay, fine, it's only chat. How's your day, that kind of thing, and then I just went wrong, as you saw. I mean,
You're saying your emotions are switched off, but you're feeling horny every night. No, I mean, that's an emotion and you're feeling that.
it's really strong emotions that get through. There's a big grey area in the middle between the extremes. You've got that on one hand, and on the other hand, you've got the other end of it, you've got really like anger, snapping, and I've had to deal with that.
But you've just said that you don't feel anger. You said 2 minutes ago that you don't feel anger.
No, not about my daughter's issue. I never
Right.
got angry over that for some reason. I think it just was too much, and it totally shut me down. Even now, I'm still not really... I mean, my daughter's angry with me because I'm not being able to empathise and help her and things like that, and we've grown apart. I mean, even last night the wife was on about how she's struggling, and I'm supposed to be a male role model, and I think I'm just failing in that respect as a general, rather than towards my daughter, as it were.
Would it not make sense to go and try and get some sort of help in that, rather than wasting time sort of speaking to underage kids, grooming kids?
We have. We've been trying. I'm trying to get a therapist up at the Priory. They've registered with them probably a couple of months ago to try and get some assistance. The Northwest Centre has discharged me for the initial reason I went to see him, and I haven't been back to them. Yeah, it's the whole waiting game with some of these. The wife, for some reason, was seen by the Priory very quickly, but I myself am still waiting, apparently waiting for the right person for my particular case. That was one of my tasks, actually, today, to try and chase that up. The wife had to go in, so I said I haven't heard from him. She goes, well, why don't you chase him up? And that never occurred to me. It's like, just wait. That cognitive thinking and reasoning, etc., seems to be diminished in myself, and that's... I'm not trying to make an excuse, but that is partly explaining to others why the alarm bells and the reasoning is not going off correctly.
But you know it's wrong to speak to a kid. You've told her many occasions it's wrong. You know what I mean? So you know it's wrong, and then you're still continuing to do it.
I'm just forgetting sort of like the next moment, as it were. I mean, I'm having lots of conversations, even just with my family, and I'm forgetting within a few minutes.
You're not forgetting her because you're telling her you're missing her when she's at school and stuff like that. No, I mean, you're having a great, no, I mean, you're carrying a conversation with her, no, I mean, no problem. Absolutely, no, I mean, when she's at school, you're telling her, I miss you when you're at school. No, I mean, she's a kid.
That's, yeah, I don't, it's difficult. I don't miss her in that respect. It's more pleasantries. I was just trying to uplift her spirits. I know Sophie in particular, she's saying about her mum frequently comes in drunk and things like that. And
See, when you're trying to mention any names of that.
We don't want anybody's names mentioned because this is live. This has been live on Facebook, so.
right.
No, I mean, don't mention any family names or the decoys' names or anything like that.
Apologies, okay.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Understood.
Yeah. You do know it wasn't a kid you were speaking to, it was a decoy.
What?
It's been a decoy you've been speaking to.
No?
Yeah, we work online.
Right.
We pretend we're kids, wait for you to come and speak to us, and then we speak back to you. We do this to protect kids from people like you. So
No, I
the
didn't
only
know
good
that.
thing it's going for you is it's actually an adult you've been speaking to and not a kid.
Right.
And the fact that you've pretty much admitted to us.
I mean, every one of
Right.
them that you've been speaking to here that we've have are adults, they're no kids. But then again, there is a chance when this goes out live that you have been speaking to real kids and they will come forward.
Not, well, yeah, I mean, those ones I thought work it, but in the moments I'm partly blind to their age. It kind of goes out the window and it's just someone on the other end.
But when you're talking to her about school things and things like that, you can't forget the age when you're talking about all these kind of things. And it's regular talk, not I mean, how's school?
Yeah.
What homework are you doing? Have you finished your homework?
But the particular age that they are,
But you still know it's school age.
yeah, it's like there's the line outside school, inside school, and they fall that side. Whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that part is what meaning is for them.
Well, she mentions her age a few times, a good few times in a chat. You have actually mentioned her age as well in the chat, so.
You've even mentioned about being in our school uniform and things at one point on one of the chats that I read.
Right.
You're asking if she still had her school uniform on.
I can't remember that one, but okay.
See, we all
You got
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
all
sorry.
the chat.
Yeah.
We have all your chat, all your pictures, everything that
all
was
the
sent,
videos,
all the
that you've
videos.
sent as well. We've got that on disc to hand to
Yeah.
the police. And that will all be passed over when they arrive. So-
Obviously, when the police come, you'll need to make arrangements for them because we know you've got kids to pick up for school.
yes.
So you'll need to make arrangements with police to get somebody else to come and do that for you.
Okay.
The thing as well, because you've got kids, just to make you aware, social work and all that will be informed as well.
Yeah.
Just because you've got kids in your house. Any devices in there that you've been using, they'll all be
Just
seized.
confirm.
So if you've not,
Do you know use a laptop as well? Because you've been talking you're on your laptop quite a bit.
We've got a laptop, but it's not working, and in this respect, it hasn't been used. So no.
Well, the police will seize all these things anyway to go through them all.
I suggest as well you be honest with the police and say which ones, because obviously your kids would have these devices as well, so you didn't want them seized. I'm just trying to think rational for your kids.
Yeah, no.
As well.
The only thing is my phone.
Yeah.
So whilst I might be on the computer playing a game or on the laptop playing a game or internet surfing or something like that, in conversations with anyone, none of those count.
See, you're kind of contradicting yourself there. You just told us that your laptop and that's broken, now you're saying you play games on it.
Used to. It doesn't. I recently upgraded it about a week ago. It required lots of updates. Because my kids constantly use the main PC to play on Roblox. I was trying to get the laptop updated so that they could use it, but for some reason the screen's gone on it now.
I would just suggest to keep your kids off roadblocks.
Right.
Yeah, because
That's one of the big things that groomers are using.
Right. Okay.
So they were not only sort of exposing you, we're giving you advice for your
Yeah.
kids' safety as well. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
yeah, it's not a very
I
good
didn't
sight
know.
for kids.
It is one of the big things. And
Right.
If you
kids will get
just
stuff
Google
like that.
roadblocks, it'll show you where it's all about. So
Right.
yeah.
I mean, again, again, it's more irony. I mean, games that I think one of them was called Giant Noob or something, where they have to kill a big giant kind of thing. For a long time, we didn't let them play on that particular game because of the shooting aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think your wife's going to make you of this? I think she's going to be pretty shocked when she comes and hears this.
Yeah, yeah, of course she will. I think I'll be straight out the door, to be honest. She'll try and wash her hands of me, and that's it. And I can understand that. It's sad that I'm realising that now rather than way back when.
You've kind of ruined your life a bit.
I did that a long time ago, and this is just going to compound even more so. It's that smart, intelligent reasoning that, again, I've failed on.
And it's what makes, what goes through your head when they're saying they're 13, 14, 12. What goes through your head at that point? To think, well, I'm going to speak sexual, send these pictures, send the videos that you've sent.
Well, I can't say back at the time because I really don't remember that particular time, but in the moment that we're talking right now, trying to ignore this scenario that we're in right now.
Have you ever been done for anything like this before?
No.
For speaking to kids or anything? No? You sure?
I've never spoken to kids before.
Have you had any images of kids being sent to you?
No.
None at all? Just ordinary headshots, stuff like that? Or
Yeah, all you see is like the profile images, and most of the time it's like, oh, that one's obvious, no, kind of thing.
what do you mean that one's obvious?
The picture, I mean, one of them there is, you can clearly see it's a child of school age. She seems to be in uniform, and it's straight away, no, I'm not touching that.
But that's the thing, you did.
But you did. No, I mean, you've been speaking to a 12, a 13 and a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I can't deny that, but initially for some reason it was no, not touching it, and then later it comes back again, and it's like, I'm not saying it's their fault, even now I know it's a adult. It's if someone's talking to me, it's rude not to be polite back, as it were, and then
Polite and asking her to masturbate, that's polite.
well, that's
Showing her masturbation,
that's a
videos,
long,
that's
long
polite.
way. That's a long way down the chat, as it were. It's not the opening sentences, is it?
No, but I mean, you've got to go where you've actually went with the kids. You groomed her, you made her like you groomed a kid. What you thought was a kid, you groomed them until she trusted you.
Could you imagine any kids opening up that video that you sent and seeing that? Could you imagine
I mean,
any
I could
kids seeing that?
I could scar a kid for life. You know, it's things have happened to your kid. God forgive, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
I know.
And my heart goes out
she's
to you.
really struggling.
So, you know what I mean? Doing it to you, when that's happened to yours, you should have been like, never am I'll speak to a kid. And you know what's happened to yours. And my heart goes out to her, you know what I mean? And I hope she gets all the help in the world that she needs.
Yeah.
I'll go and speak to them.
But for yourself here, just to keep going.
Yeah, it's stupid. I can't deny that, and and in those moments I can't rationalise it at all. And hindsight's a great thing. It's like, why did I ever do that? And I've got no idea. I can't answer that. I don't. In those moments, I can't answer that. I really don't remember those moments. And I mean, even now, this whole thing is blurring my mind, and I'm struggling to make coherent sentences. I'm not trying to excuse myself, because I realise, yeah, I've done these things and I shouldn't have. There is no excuses.
No, there's no excuse. You've took that kid's innocent. If that was a real kid, you would have ruined their lives.
I'm glad it's not now you've told me.
But if we hadn't been there speaking to you, there's a very high chance
Yes.
it would have been real kids.
Yes, and that's
What do you think,
scary.
like teams like us, what we do? What do you think? Do you think it's a good thing what we do?
Yes. No. Yes, I definitely agree. You're doing the right thing. I'm just sorry that I happen to be one of those that falls afoul of it. Not that I've been caught. It's the fact that I did those
It's
things.
sinking in now. It's actually sinking in what you've done. You've actually groomed and really sexually assaulted a kid. Whether it be meeting her, but you've done it online, it's still the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You've still caused what that could have been that kid. You would have caused her a lot of heartache through time.
Yeah. And I should have realised that from my own daughter, but I'm not sure how to.
Do you realise now what you've done?
Yes. Yeah. And I certainly realised that I should have shouted louder for help and sooner.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I didn't set out for this. I didn't go online and think, oh, I know.
How long has it been for you been talking to kids on? The first kid that you knew you were speaking to?
That was Leah.
That would have been a wee,
Sorry, apologies. That was.
so that would have been a way back. Was that before Christmas or just after Christmas?
I'm sure it's after Christmas. I don't recall before Christmas.
So really for the new year then, you've been talking to quite a few kids. So the past
See-
4 months.
I don't think it's as long as that. But
Well, I know
it's this
you've been
year.
speaking to the one that obviously we've got the chat there for January as well. So
Right. Okay.
so not I mean it's been you had it's been about 4 months you've been doing it. Not I mean so. And it's all you always get back to her. Not I mean you always constantly message her. Not I mean Ian, hi baby, missed you today. You know all the stuff that is inappropriate to say to a kid.
Mm.
And you've got kids yourself, so you know how to speak to kids. It's not as if you don't know. You wouldn't say things like that to your own kid, would you?
No.
So you shouldn't be saying it to anybody else's.
No. In regards to knowing how to speak to my kids, speak to the wife, and she'll probably tell you I can't. I mean, my daughter last night was on about. She doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to be near me at the moment. There's a lot of friction between us.
Well, rather than being on the internet speaking to kids, should you not been building that back up, having your bond back with your kid? No, I mean, it's your kids.
Yeah, and from an outside view, yes, I should. Sad part is it took my wife to be angry with me to point that out to me last night. It's a case of why haven't I realised that sooner? And I can't say why I didn't. And I do feel sorry for my daughter in that respect, that I have again
I feel
fact.
sorry for your daughters and your wife, actually. You know what I mean? They've got to come back here, and now neighbours know what you've done. These people know what we do. You know what I mean? We're all over Facebook. There's, you know what I mean? There's like 117 teams out here working, doing what we do, just to protect kids from people like yourself. It's not acceptable. That it just isn't acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry that I've done it. And I'm trying to find reasons why, and I can't. Or reasons why I didn't stop, and I'm struggling with that as well.
But if you hadn't came here today, you would have still continued to speak to kids for what you thought was kids.
Yeah, I mean, they had become friends.
But you don't speak sexual to your friend. I don't see you. Do you speak to any of your friends and ask them to masturbate themselves? And wait till you go into the toilet so you can masturbate yourself, or go into your bedroom when the kids are watching or playing the computer, or into the study? No. See, you knew what you were doing. You knew you were grooming a kid. You knew you were grooming kids. If you were saying your mind and your memory's that bad, you would be doing it with everybody, not just kids. You would be treating everybody the same way. But you know who you can speak vulgar to and inappropriate to, and you know who you can't. You know that. You know right for wrong. Not, I mean, there's no getting away from it here. You know right for wrong.
Yeah, I mean, clearly right now I realise what's right and what's wrong.
I think you would have known before it was inappropriate to speak to kids. You know what I mean? As yourself, you've got kids.
It certainly became clearer after any particular message, but then I have to ask myself why I didn't follow through with that and realise, no, I shouldn't. I should just cut it off and leave it, and I don't know.
You know what I mean? You told her every other night that you felt horny. That's the wife and kids in bed now. As soon as they were in bed, you were right on there. You were even chatting to them while your wife and your kids was sitting there. You were still chatting to these decoys. You know what I mean? You're speaking about them in your conversations, saying, oh, the wife's doing this, the kids are doing that. And you're sitting there texting a kid. It's not right. And your own kids are running about. But you think it's okay. You know what I mean? Considering what happened to you, and it's shocking that you would even go there.
Like you say, it's really sinking in there, and there is no excuse for it.
I mean, you've no idea if you think your kids had it hard now, the social workers are going to come in and speak to these kids. You know what I mean? They're going to be put through a lot of questions that should never be put through.
Yeah. And they are oblivious.
And other kids that are alleged having sleepovers here, they're all going to have to be questioned. And their parents are going to be very upset when this all comes out. You can imagine how their parents are going to feel. Because you've had kids staying here with your kids while you've been doing this. And you've been speaking to me, I'm one of them. So you have been speaking to me, I'm telling you that is what you're telling me as a matter of fact. That's what 12-year-old. That is a 12-year-old you've been speaking to, standing right there with their face covered. You've got a 12-year-old on your own, speaking sexually to what you believe to be a 12-year-old. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Yep, and I've watched this house and I've seen your kids. I've been watching you for about a week. Every move.
Okay. I've not noticed you.
Obviously, we've got to watch to make sure we're coming to the right door for a start to find out handy, so that we're not going to our strangers at the wrong door and accusing somebody. So it's not that we've been stalking you or anything, but we have been checking you out.
No, I understand that, and it makes a lot of sense the way you do these things.
But we try to do it with as least complications as possible. We don't want to come and shout and bawl, not let your neighbours know. We're trying to be respectful, and I'm trying to be respectful for your wife and your kids' sake. Not so much for yours, but for your wife and your kid.
And we had to ensure your kids were out of this house. We had to ensure that. We wouldn't have came at your door if your kids were. We had to
Yeah,
ensure
they're both at school.
Yeah, we know that.
So.
That's why we're a wee early morning, well, wee early afternoon for you, to make sure. Right, people, the police are coming over, so obviously they'll be going to speak. So
Yeah,
I'll put the phone down just now, right? Okay. Hi there.
You okay to speak to us,
Yeah,
Aye,
right.
able to grab your details and
Yep,
stuff?
yep. Right, peeps, we'll go and we'll give you a wee update soon.
Come speak.